Madera Companies, welcome back to Good Stories with Josh and Oscar. I'm Josh Haynes, and this is my friend Oscar Mendoza. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, maybe you're one of our new friends, our new teammates. Basically, what he and I get to do is we get together once a month and just tell good stories, and for no other reason except to encourage you. And so, happy 2022, happy January, happy New Year, and hopefully we can give you a little bit of encouragement as we get up and going. Right here at the beginning. So, Oscar, I'll give you the floor. Tell us your first story.
Yes, Happy New Year to everybody as well. So my first story actually takes us to Newark, Delaware, where a 70-year-old had forgotten to put her car in park and got run over by her own vehicle and was stuck underneath the vehicle. After pleading with her neighbor not to leave, he made several attempts to try to jack the car up. Couldn't get it high enough to pull her out. Finally, officers arrived, and between 4 officers and Kyle Stant, they were able to lift the vehicle up enough for a 5th officer to pull the lady out. Fortunately, she's being just treated for minor injuries, so she's very fortunate for that. But anything to take out of this story is that with teamwork, even the impossible can be possible.
For my first story, I actually want to tell you about a lady named Julia Hurricane Hawkins. She is 105 years old, and she is the first female track and field athlete and the first American to set a world record in the 100-meter dash for her age group, which is the division of 105 plus people. I don't know if there's a higher division than that, because I don't know if anybody runs beyond that, but she actually is running in and has been running in the Louisiana Senior Games competitions for the last several years. But only for the last several years, because in her 90s, Miss Hawkins took up biking. And she biked until her children basically said, Mom, you're too old to bike. And so she took up running. She talks about why she runs and all of the importance that she finds in it. She says that the older you get, the more passions you should have, which I really appreciate hearing that even in her age, she's like, bring on something new, bring on a new challenge, let's figure this out. And then she just goes with it. But her husband of 70 years passed away just a few years ago. And she came out and she said, I keep thinking, why am I still here? Why have I been left? Why have I not been called by now? People say that they want to be just like me. She says she hears that from people all the time. She said, people want to be just like me when I grow up. And I keep thinking to myself, if I can just please people and give them a little bit of hope, it's worth living a little bit longer. I love her spirit and the way in which she just kind of carries herself. It's crazy to me, one, that she's still running at 105. I like to run, and I hope in 70 years I'm still getting a chance to run. As far as that goes, she runs a mile or jogs or walks a mile or two every single day, and she is thinking about competing in the 2022 National Senior Games, which is going to take place in Fort Lauderdale, Florida in May of this year. I just think this lady is inspiring.
Yeah, we don't know why we're here, but, while we're here, let's do some amazing things.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Grow your passions, do cool things. It'd be awesome.
Yep, that's great.
What you got next?
So our next story actually brings us a little closer to home in San Angelo, Texas.
Nice.
Where Donald Husenga, in 1943, was just weeks from graduating when he got drafted to go to World War II. Well, he ends up getting drafted. He parachutes out of an airplane and ends up being a POW for 8 months in Germany. And he stayed enlisted until 1945. Now, he was visiting the San Angelo VA where he met social worker Tess Gooding, who he explained to her that, the one thing that he regretted was not receiving his diploma. So Tess went to work and actually reached out that very day to the school that replaced the school that Donald went to in 1943. Well, the principal was very excited. He even stated that, anyone that wants to work as hard as Donald has to receive a diploma should get his diploma.
Nice.
So behind the scenes, they were working with Jostens company, who were able to get a replica diploma for Donald. In the meantime, Tess worked with Donald to get him some new hearing aids, some batteries for his pacemaker, so that he could attend the ceremony.
Nice.
And they were able to give him, actually officially get him his diploma. And the principal, Kevin Letter, was he felt great about it. He's like, if you could just see the look in Donald's eyes as he received his diploma, and and it's like all the things he had to do to get there. And so it's just an amazing story.
Absolutely. I love the fact that Miss Tess went to work for him to take care of him and help him get where he wanted to go.
Yeah, I mean, considering her job was to work on his health, not help him get his diploma, but that's going way above and beyond.
Yeah. It is great to hear the good stories, and we know that it doesn't really matter like what times are. I mean, I know that the last couple of years with COVID has been crazy. I know that we've had people throughout our companies who have gotten it. Some of us have been really impacted by it in some pretty drastic ways. And yet in the midst of some of this, there are great people still doing good things. And I want to tell you a little bit about the North Bergen Lincoln Tunnel Motel. This is this has been in the Aria family for the last 30 plus years, and now the son of Mr. Aria, his name is Brian, is now running this motel. And what's really interesting is that when 2020 hit, and as we continue to make our way through 2020 and 2021, you saw this influx of people who were looking for housing and were looking for a place to stay because they either got laid off, lost their jobs, or they were basically furloughed because we weren't bringing people into offices and into different things like that, and they couldn't pay their bills. And didn't know how to do the rental assistance programs and different things like that. And so Brian Aria in New Jersey basically used his TikTok platform, which he was using TikTok to really kind of market his motel.
Right.
But then he started figuring out that of these 800,000 people who follow him on TikTok, they could help him reach the most vulnerable of our society, the people who needed housing. And so he used TikTok to tell everybody, I have free rooms. No questions asked. If you need a place to stay, I have free rooms. And so he basically started, using his hotel to house people, to take care of people. And in his boldness to act for others, it inspired a massive group of other people to come help. And so donations of food and toiletries, funding to help him pay the bills and to take care of those nights of stay were brought to him. His Amazon wish list was maxed out almost completely of people just overflowing with generosity. College students from the neighboring areas brought stacks of supplies to fill the food pantry there to give these people food. So this New Jersey motel ends up kind of creating the Pay It Forward Brigade, as they're known, and the whole community kind of rallied around this motel to take care of not only these people who needed the housing, but to also take care of anybody else who had needs. It is just an amazing story of generosity and a willingness to help and care for other people.
Yeah, I mean, having myself been impacted by a work furlough prior to working for Madeira companies, it's nice to know that there could be help from people that volunteer like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in these uncertain times with all the things that we've got going on and so many things feeling like they're out of our control, I think maybe one piece of encouragement for us is when you risk to serve others, I know that kind of makes us a little bit vulnerable and a little bit nervous, but more often than not, it sure seems like we free other people to join us and to do similar things, which only means the army of people doing good gets that much bigger.
Yeah, and Josh, I mean, the one constant is you.
Yeah.
And what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a place to do great work. And so with that, happy 2022. And we're going to do great work together this year.
Yes, sir.
And so there's a few good stories, and I hope you'll go make a few yourself.
Yeah, and I also want to thank Jacob for providing us the help to get the stories out to you.
Yep, absolutely. You guys have a great day.
Thank you.